So hello everyone. I think I am officially live here. So hello, welcome to Sunday. We're just kind of enjoying our morning here, and I felt like it was the perfect day to just open up a conversation and share a few ideas about how to bring some joy and ease into our kitchen experience. So I will just kind of let anybody who comes in, and oh, my hubby just popped in. I'll say hi to you, babe, and to whoever else is going to show up today, whether it be when it's live or when it's after. Thank you for being here. So the first thing that I kind of wanted to do before I got into the official steps is to kind of bring forward an idea that is really helpful to start anything that you're doing. And so if you're going to start cooking, if you're going to start a process such as like organizing your kitchen, if you're going to start anything in your life, even starting your day, this number one step is a really important one. So what is this number one step? This number one step is gratitude. It's literally taking a moment and giving thanks to your kitchen. Whatever, giving thanks to whatever, but because we're talking about the kitchen here, it's giving thanks to your kitchen. Literally thanks and gratitude for this place that brings your family together, where you can nourish yourselves, where you can have conversations together over the table, where you literally have an experience of, life through the food that you eat and through the conversations that you have, and by simply just being present with one another. The kitchen can be seen as like a sacred place, and actually through the eyes of Whole and Healthy Kitchen, I really view a kitchen as first an internal domain. It really exists inside ourselves, inside our mindset, inside the decision to want to have and eat and make whole and healthy food. And so when we kind of connect with that inner domain, that kitchen, that sanctuary inside of ourselves, it can naturally extend to whatever our kitchen might look like, however big or small it might be, whether it's your own kitchen or somebody else's kitchen. It literally becomes a beautiful domain that you can quote unquote control and be in like the ruler of, and just really kind of stand in your power. So let's just literally like take a moment here and remember all the things there is to be grateful for in regards to the kitchen, in regards to the food and our ability to choose, and our desire for health. And let's just hold that space for a minute. Thank you. Even with that, I think we can feel the energy shift into a more calm and centered and grounded and ease-filled state. So even that number one step is huge. So with that being our first step that is shared, we move on to our second step of what might bring ease and joy into our kitchen experience. And the one that I like to step into is the step of organization. And with the kitchen being such a busy place and us being in it at least 3 times a day, it could get quite disorganized and really, really fast. So there's one rule here that I like to hold on to in the kitchen, and it's to give everything a home. Okay, give everything a home. And so what that means is when you walk into your kitchen, maybe take notice of what drawers are crazy messy, or what cupboards are just like all over the place, or how your fridge itself is not the tidiest. And perhaps even just start with one drawer or one cupboard and be like, okay, like I'm going to tackle you today. And what I recommend is taking everything out of that cupboard or drawer or fridge and literally putting it on the table or putting it on the counter, just getting everything out. And then you can kind of clean inside that drawer or cupboard. And then one by one, you literally can go through each thing and ask, does this thing spark joy in me? Or we can ask, does this thing help me to make food that will nourish my family, nourish my body, nourish my being. And if we ask questions such as this, then we literally will keep only that is in highest resonance with our highest vibration of joy, and we literally can let go of and like throw out everything that does not resonate with that. Now this specific, not my own, I've actually kind of adapted it from Marie Kondo, I think her last name is, in the documentary called Tidying Up. But I felt like her approach is supremely helpful to our kitchen experience, and this is something that we can really be mindful of and just take one day at a time and one step at a time, and know that when we tackle one specific area of the kitchen, we will notice how amazing it feels by the end of it, and then it can extend to all areas of our kitchen and beyond if we so want it to. And so just a shout out thank you to anybody else who's popped into the room and who's listening to this today. So we're just completing step 2, which is literally to begin the process of organizing our kitchen, starting with one drawer or one cupboard and taking everything out on the counter, and then one by one asking, does this specific thing, whether it be a ladle or whether it be a peeler or whether it be a bowl or scrap paper, whatever it is, does this spark joy in me? And sometimes we might even be new with that idea of like, well, what does even sparking joy in me mean, right? But I think we've all had that experience when we've held a newborn baby or we've seen a puppy and we go, oh my gosh, and your heart just opens and the smile just happens and it just feels really good. And like, that's what we're looking for, is that spark of joy. And the more you do this process, the more you become in tune with that joy, so that soon this becomes all that exists in your kitchen. And when you start to put things away, like I was saying before, make sure it has a home. So I have little boxes inside all of my drawers, and I have like little Lazy Susans inside my cupboards for all my spices, so I can just like spin it around and see it. And so that is like also really helpful, is having those little boxes to keep all things of like size and like order together, and you can kind of see it at a glance, and it's just a lot more helpful and friendly to you as a cook when you're having your kitchen space organized. And it's kind of reflective of our inner domain too, right? Like if we clean out externally and have our kitchen space cleaned, it also contributes to the cleanliness and organization of our thoughts and how we feel within, and it just like balances each other out. So just as much as we have to clear out the clutter in our mind, we got to clear out the clutter in our cupboards. And so it's a really key step. So that's number 2. Number 3 step is the practicality of actually operating a kitchen. So what I would recommend, you can maybe go find a big piece of paper. I've got kind of lined paper from like the dollar store. And what I recommend with this is kind of splitting the page in quarters. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants, right? And you could just start with 4 days. And in the left quadrant, begin with that one. And this can be, you know, maybe tomorrow. And you can ask yourself, like, what are the meals or the foods that would nourish my family and nourish myself, and that we would all enjoy eating together? And you can start documenting those out and writing those out. And the way I kind of go about this is I have a select maybe 10 meals that I call like my meals on rotation that I literally just do every week, that are always part of it because my family loves it. It's relatively easy to make. It's absolutely nutritious, it's absolutely delicious, and so it hits all those marks. And you know, a lot of those recipes I have on my Whole and Healthy Kitchen website under the recipe section that you can find. But a lot of us will have recipes that we've kind of brought with us that we love. You can use those or not use those. You can also maybe think about a time when you've had a wonderful meal that was like, oh my God, this was so good, and then start Googling it and Pinteresting it and seeing where you can find a recipe that you can adapt that would work for you. And then once you get it right, like write it down, like lock it in and be like, okay, this is something I want to repeat. So this helps you to not have to always be thinking of new things when it comes to mealtime, but you literally have a select few things that can continue to expand and continue to grow and help you to increase your confidence in yourself and in your cooking. So I really, really recommend like thinking about what you're going to eat the next day so that you're prepared, but then also kind of thinking about the kinds of meals you want to have as part of your meal rotation. So in that first box, literally write out breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What do we want to have for breakfast tomorrow? Really important meal a day. What do I want to have for lunch? For us, it's often leftovers, makes it easy. And for dinner, what do you want to make? And what could you do today to kind of like help yourself be a little bit prepared for tomorrow? And so maybe that'll look like just soaking some beans, you know, so that maybe you can have a chili tomorrow. Maybe you want to just like take your ingredients out on the counter so that when you come home from work, you can just simply throw it in a pot and make something. So what I'm probably going to make tomorrow is probably like a vegan red lentil stew. And that comes to mind immediately because I've got sweet potatoes, I've got red lentil, I've got coconut milk, I've got all my spices and onions and everything that I would need for it. And it's really quick and it makes a lot. That's also a big thing of us, is to make a lot in one meal so we can have it over the next day or two. Saves time, saves effort, makes a wonderful, it's a wonderful tip. So then what I would do is I would progressively go through the remaining 3 squares and ask yourself, well, what are we going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day? And write it down. And then the third box, what am I going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day? And write it down. And then the next day, and write it down. And what this is going to do is now you're going to have a 4-part spread that shows you what you're going to have to eat and what you want to make for the next 4 days. Now you don't have to think about that. Now you literally can just wake up in the morning and you know what you're going to make. You don't have to go through the stress of thinking about it. And you can also take those ingredients that you need to make those meals and put them on your grocery list. And this is ultimately step 4, is literally going through those meals that you just decided upon and putting the ingredients that you need to make those meals on a grocery list. And the way our dynamic here works in our home is a lot of the time I make that grocery list, but then I give it to Tom and he goes and he does the actual grocery shopping for me. And I mean, I love grocery shopping, but I have a tendency to buy even more than what's on the list, but he's fantastic of just sticking to my list and getting me what I need. And that's one of his contributions to the house, to the kitchen. He also does the dishes for me, which is really helpful. So that's also something else that I encourage, is kind of figuring out what your role is, what your part is in the kitchen, and figuring out what your partner's role is in the kitchen and your kids, and get everybody involved in this, because everybody needs to eat. And so we can make this a lot more enjoyable when everybody pitches in and everybody partakes in the kitchen experience. So it's really good to have conversations around this and figure out, what are you going to do? How are you going to help? What works? And I really, really encourage these 4 steps. So the first one is being grateful for your kitchen and taking a moment to center in and really give that gratitude to your kitchen and to yourself for making the meals in the kitchen and going through the efforts to do this. The second one is to organize the kitchen little bit by little bit wherever you can. The third one is to think about what your meals are so that you can prepare ahead of time for them and write out that list, know what you're going to make, and literally leave stress behind. And then the fourth one is to write that ingredient list and to literally decide kind of what role you play in the kitchen and have that conversation with your family. So if you can do these 4 steps, even like once or twice a week, you are going to have a totally changed kitchen experience. And I say that from experience. You know, I didn't always have ease and joy in the kitchen. I actually really disliked being in the kitchen. I was as quick and as fast as possible with food. I mean, I tried to eat what I thought was healthy, but kind of not really understanding nutrients or whole foods or how they interact with one another. And so there's a whole scope of learning and education that comes with this idea of having a whole and healthy kitchen and of sparking joy inside yourself and in your kitchen experience. And I feel that's probably why I was so absolutely inspired from beginning to end to create a course on this. And so that's what I've done. I have created a 21-day deep work course where people join me and our community of going through a process of the first step. The first week is we dive into the mindset component of being in the kitchen. The second phase, or the second week, is when we dive into education about whole foods and finding our why, which is like synonymous with our vision and like the anchor and reason why we want to be in the kitchen and cook whole and healthy and eat and be whole and healthy. And then the third part is literally the practical component of bringing all of these things into your kitchen experience. You find a perfect workflow that works for you and your family. And when you can go through these 3 elements of a kitchen, that's it. You've transformed your kitchen experience, and all that you need is to continue to apply it day after day and take a little bit more of the tips and like do a little bit better every day and in every way. And it's amazing and it's beautiful. And I'm super excited and grateful for all the people who have taken my course before and allowed me to be at the point where I've perfected it, to really help even more people and allow it to be even more practical and useful for those who take this course. So I genuinely would love you to be there. And so I have put a link at the top of this video, and it will take you to the Transform Your Kitchen Experience page, and I would love for you to sign up. And I actually think I still have basically a deal in there that says that when you buy a ticket for yourself today, you receive another ticket for free that you can give to a friend or family member, because I have really realized how helpful it is to be going through an experience like this with someone else. But if it's just for you and you just feel called for you, then please come join us, be part of our family, be part of our community, and learn how to really apply the 4 steps that I've given you today and so much more that make up the whole experience of joy in your kitchen. And that's what I want for you and for everyone, is to leave the overwhelm and stress behind, to connect with that inner domain, that inner sanctuary of joy and peace and ease, and allow it to come forth from within you and be activated in your kitchen experience. And when it's activated in your kitchen experience, you will naturally choose those healthy and whole foods. You'll naturally have your relationships come more into alignment with these same whole ideas, and it can also expand to our whole world. And so we're really making a difference by making a choice such as taking care of ourselves and taking care of our kitchens in this way. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this video and even sharing it around if it's helpful and inspiring to you. And I really hope you join our course. It starts in only a few days. It starts on Thursday, and today is Sunday. So it's January 10th that it begins. So I look forward to seeing you, and have a wonderful Sunday. So I'll see you soon, my beautiful friends, and thank you again. Bye.